Get Pucked. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Pucked podcast. Today's episode features Vito, Luca, and Matt. No Dave, unfortunately, but I'm sure he's here somewhere in spirit. Gentlemen, how you doing?
You're great.
Oh, I think we got some technical difficulties right out the gate.
It's a great day to be a Habs fan.
There he is.
There you go.
Yes, it is. And we'll dive right into it. So the number one thing that we're going to obviously need to talk about is Lane Hutson. It happened. Contract signed. We could put that to bed finally. The last week or so has not been ideal when it comes to the rumors and the conversation surrounding Lane Hutson and why isn't he signing and what's taking so long and rumors about family members possibly getting in the mix. All that's done with now. But the interesting thing is, I believe across the board, everybody is probably a little bit surprised with the numbers. So it is an 8-year contract. That much term-wise, I think most people were pretty much on the same page about. But people were throwing out numbers like 10, 10 and a half, more. Some were saying, no, he'll get the Dobson. And then you have other people saying, no, he should be in and around Suzuki and stuff. And anyways, everybody had an opinion about it. End of the day, the ink is now dry, and he's at 8.85 a year. Front-loaded with tons of signing bonuses and what have you. I don't think we'll get necessarily into the structure of that, but just in general, it's an 8.85 AAV, 8-year contract, and right out the gate, Luca, starting with you, what's your initial reaction beyond jubilation?
Beyond jubilation. Well, honestly, it's just a Kent Hughes masterclass. Who expected anything under $9 million? Let's be honest.
I didn't.
It's just, it's the signing bonus has floored me a bit, but honestly, I couldn't be happier. They should build a statue in front of the Bell Center for Kent Hughes. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I only have positive things to say about it. I don't think there's any kind of negative aspect of this contract for the Canadiens at all.
What do you think ultimately led to Hutson agreeing to what we'll say? I don't even want to say it because it's silly to say it, but I'll say it anyways for the sake of just saying it. A lower than expected value that he probably could have got. There's lots of people that are throwing out their reasoning as to why would he sign that? Why wouldn't he just hold out? What's your take on that? Why do you think he would have done that?
The hopeful side of me says, like, he really believes in the team, right? He knows that the cup is coming to Montreal eventually. I think he just wanted to get it done. I think it was distracting him. You kind of saw it in his gameplay, the first few games. You saw he wasn't all there. I think he just wanted to get it over with and just like go out and play hockey without anything weighing on his shoulders. So he probably said, like, just get it done.
Leave a couple million on the table, but I don't want to think about it anymore.
Exactly.
Like, let's just do it.
Exactly.
Okay. Very good. Vito, your reaction to the signing?
It's a perfect number when you think of it. Like, he left some money on the table, but if you've noticed, every core player on the Montreal Canadiens has left money on the table for the betterment of the team and for a better chance to win and to build something. They obviously all believe in where this team is going. I mean, Lane Hutson said it as much in his interview today. They're all in the same age group. They're all growing and developing together. When you look at even the players know too what's going on with the cap. When you're seeing that as of next year, like 48.7%, something like that, is being occupied by your entire core, and there's still going to be $50+ million to kind of work with over the next few years and things like that. That's to round out the rest of the team. That's incredible. The cap management that's going on with Montreal right now is just insane. So somebody like Lane Hutson can obviously see that. And while I think his agent was doing what he had to do to try to get as much money as possible, it seems like, by all accounts, Montreal, even apparently, according to, I think it was Eric Engels who mentioned, Montreal offered more money. It was Lane Hutson who then came out and said, give me less so that, it could spread it all out and have everybody, go get other players and do what needs to be done to round out this team. It was Eric Engels who said it.
I know that. Yeah, no. I know. That's not you just making something up here. That was written. I have my reservations about it, and that's not to discredit, like maybe that's what he heard, but I personally find it difficult to see that. You're a professional athlete and you're offered more money and you sit back and say, no. You want to give me 9.5? Don't worry about it. I'll take
Connor
8.85.
McDavid did it, didn't he?
Yeah, Connor McDavid did it. It's not crazy.
Hold on. There's a difference between, hey, Lane, we'll give you 9.5, but if we do that, and you deserve it, but if we do that, it's going to maybe be more difficult for us to round out the team. We'd like to offer you this other number and set a little bit lower, and you'd be helping the team. What do you think? That is maybe also a tiny bit far-fetched in my head, but at least there's a little bit of logic there. The way that it was written was they offered him money, and he straight up said, no, I'm good with this other number. Here's my counter offer. It's less than what you want to give me, and I'm doing it because I'm that good of a dude, and I want to be here, and I want.
But you see, the pattern, like I said a little bit before, is that the pattern right now is that every core player left some money on the table. They didn't leave $2, $3, $4, and $5 million. Yes, could Lane Hutson have held out till next year and have this weighing on him, have this distraction around the team and all that, and the media constantly bringing it up, and then getting to a point where it could potentially get toxic because agents are fighting, parents are probably involved from all the rumors, or whatever the case may be there, if that even is true. You clearly he didn't want it. So I mean, I loved what Kent Hughes had even said today, is that it was Lane Hutson that wanted to sit down with Kent Hughes to go and show that he believes in this team, believes in where it's going. He didn't want it to make it look like whatever maybe some social media rumors would have crept in to make it look like he was upset or like was getting toxic. And it was Kent Hughes who then apparently stopped him and said, Lane, stop. There wouldn't be an 8-year deal or an 8-year offer on the table if we didn't believe who you are and believe who you are at your core. So it was clearly a point that everybody wanted to get it done, but it was his agent's job to do what they had to do to maximize that and try to get the structure to work. Now, let's make no mistake. Lane Hutson got one of the most important, based on the status, his current status, that he couldn't be qualified and no offer sheet could have been given to him. He had a 10.2C structure situation there. He got the most important contract in NHL history. In case you guys didn't know, no player has been signed with that much signing bonus with a current situation like he has right now, where literally he had no leverage. The only thing that he could have done is sign a bridge deal, 2-3 years or whatever the case, gotten to the point where he would have gotten to UFA or gotten to a point where he would have been able to go to qualifying offers and all that, and then it would have gotten worse. Okay. But in this case, he signed an 8-year deal. Yes, he's going to get, I think, $55 million of signing bonuses that are going to be, a check's going to be scratched at the beginning of every season for him.
Right. But, I mean, it's a far cry to call it the most important signing in NHL history.
I'm not the one who said this. This is actually a fact, apparently, that was brought up by TVA Sport.
He's the only one as an RFA or as a hockey player?
There's not even Luke Hughes or any of the other guys got signing bonuses like he got. At that amount of money.
It's the structure and everything about it for sure. And it is an important deal. Like, I don't want to make any bones about it. But I mean, when you start talking about a contract that he left money on the table.
But you're not, no. Don't put in your head comparing it to the Connor McDavids and those. It's based on his current situation. He
had no leverage and they could have lowballed him, but he could have also held out and it could have become a whole big thing.
He wasn't going to hold out because he was going to play out this year no matter what.
Well, right? Sure. And even if he could have made it ugly for the Canadiens, he could have made
it ugly, but the Canadiens, there was no leverage for him right now, and it would have been a massive. All this to say, based on the current situation as a player in the NHL and the current contractual situation, the current status of the player, and what the contract was signed for ultimately with all the signing bonuses, no player has gotten that at this stage in their career in NHL history.
Well, he was a rookie last season. So straight. Is that your stomach?
That was my stomach.
That's pretty good.
It's all that Thanksgiving turkey.
It's all that Thanksgiving
It must be.
I can't believe your mic picked that up.
Where's it going with this?
That's
basically, So what I was saying is he was a rookie last season and he wins the Calder for sure. But then this kind of contract right after that season, that's where it's like interesting, right? But the idea was that the Canadiens were very open about it. They wanted to sign him long term. This was an obvious and open thing, and he wants to sign long term. So everybody, it was a match. It was working out the details. At the end of the day, whatever the reason, and I'm looking past all of the people coming out saying, I have a source that said this, that, and whatever. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if he chose to leave money himself or if it was a Kent Hughes sort of push saying, hey, Lane, we'll pay you more, but like, you know, it'll be rougher for the team. And don't you want to win? I don't know who and how and why. The point is, everybody expected the number to be high. Everybody. And somehow it comes in, I think he's earning less than Luke Hughes. Right?
Not exactly.
Well,
his AAV
is lower than Luke Hughes.
But he's actually going to be putting more money in his pocket than Luke Hughes and Jackson Lacombe together.
Yes.
Well, not put together, but both.
But yeah, I understand. So it's just how that came to be is fantastic. And the most important part about this, and I think it was Luke that alluded to it right in the beginning there, the most important part, it was imperative that however much money needed to be given to him, that the contract needed to get done. Because it was obvious. It was. In the 3 games that we've witnessed now, it seemed as if he was not quite himself. We're going to not go so far to say he had bad games, but he wasn't.
No, last game was his best game, and apparently the contract was they had already agreed upon it before the game started.
That's right. So it was already off his head, and you could already tell it's manifest. This is a young guy, man. This is a big thing. This is his future tied up, locked in. This is he's never going to have to worry again about money. Like there's a lot there, and you could see it. It was evident. So now the best news about this is it's done, and that we can get back to seeing the Lane Hutson that we were seeing last year.
No, the next contract.
Well, please,
let's go.
Let's not even start that yet. Please let them play out the year, and let's go through that. That puts the end to this. Again, I don't think there's anybody. I think it was universal that everybody's like, this is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable deal for Montreal. This is going to be a cornerstone, locked in.
The media,
everybody,
podcasters,
everybody.
I've seen
fans. Everyone is saying, but people, I don't know why.
Fans of other teams are not.
Fans from Philly fans are bashing it. Yeah. Some
Sens
trolls
fans
on the Maple Leaf side of fans, on the Maple Leaf side of things are bashing it.
But how? For
because
what
they're
reason?
saying he's overpaid. How could you pay him that much?
Okay,
only 1 year.
Overpaid. He can't play defense. Some are even saying he's comparable to Boston's
one good year.
I'm talking about no. I'm talking about those that have an actual vested interest into the Montreal Canadiens, not opposing teams' fan bases that just want to fan the flames of contention and just wherever they can. Forget them; they're nobodies. It's the fan base. The fan base often is pretty polarized, and you have always, whenever anything happens, you have some segment of the fan base that is against it, doesn't like it, and then everybody else seems to like it, and it's never quite there. Everybody liked it.
There's a pattern here, right, Matt? It's that the last few contracts, even going back all the way to Nick Suzuki or even Cole Caulfield, everyone's been wrong. It's always been, you've been hearing these numbers of 10, 11, 13, 12 million, 9 at the time when it was Suzuki's contract, and they're completely wrong. Now, are they wrong because they're not wrong in saying that that's what the market is for that player? They're just wrong that they don't expect these players that signed to leave any money on the table. And they're leaving money on the table. Nick Suzuki, when he signed, he signed for 7.875, if I'm not mistaken. That was the number. And when he signed, we were talking about, is he an $8.5 million player? When it was Cole Caulfield, heck, we heard numbers of $12 million at a point for Cole Caulfield.
But then they were saying, okay, it was going to
be. Everyone thought it was going to sit. It was going to stop at around $9.5 million at the time. He ends up being less than Suzuki. Slafkovsky was the only question mark. Nobody knew exactly what he was going to get paid, and that was the only time that a contract was given out. And they're like, okay, they believe in him. They're paying him based on where he was drafted, where they think he's going to be, how they're going to develop him, and all that stuff. That was different. Noah Dobson. We're like, yeah, the Montreal Canadiens are gonna. There's rumors that they were gonna acquire him. And it was going to cost $11.5 million.
That one is another known fact, but a little bit different. He purposely took less money because he took the offer from the Canadiens. Not that he said, "Hey, I'll give money back." He had a higher offer elsewhere, but he wanted to play in Montreal, and
my point is
I
that
believe is your point.
we're in an era now of the Montreal Canadiens where the insiders, the reputable ones that we all know, the big names, haven't been right when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens contracts and how the negotiations are going on in the background. There's a handful, barely less than a handful, that seem to be kind of close, and our friend Marco D'Amico is one of them. You know, there's Jonathan Bernier was saying it. I think it's Jonathan Bernier from Jonathan Marial. Is that his name? Anyways, I apologize. But he was saying it, I think it was on Friday or Saturday, that the negotiations really progressed in the last 24 hours. And you had Elliot Friedman who said no. So basically, when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, it's time that you just let management do their thing and trust the process, and everybody just stop speculating these crazy numbers until it actually happens. If it ever comes out and it's like, yeah, it was $12 million.
But hold on a second. People are going to speculate. It's what they do. That's not
fun.
the point.
I get it.
The fun thing to talk about this is I believe it would be the first time in perhaps our lifetimes that this market, which is historic, but for, let's be honest, the last lengthy period of time has not been a premier destination for people to come. It is finally arrived. This is the place. People are seeing it. You're actually hearing things. We can bring back the whole Sidney Crosby thing again. And like, it would have been laughable to talk about that of ending his career in Montreal and where they're not even going to be competing. He'd only do it for no, it's everything now. This is a team on the uptick. This is a young team. It has its core locked in. They're coming to camp early. They were here early. They're staying in the city for their summers. There's a vibe that's happening now with this team that hasn't been there in who knows how long. And it is a very exciting time to be a fan of this team. And I think that every contract you see, they keep calling it like a sweetheart deal, and the players are taking team-friendly deals. Yeah, to a degree, because I think that you're having a masterful negotiator in Kent Hughes, and Jeff Gordon is probably there too. And they're talking to these guys saying, you guys see it. Our fans see it. You can feel this. There is something that is being built here, and you're going to want to be a part of it.
Luca, they're the youngest team in the NHL.
They are.
They're already have hit the playoffs on a rebuilding team. They're adding. They're at the point now where they're adding reputable names and star players that are within an age group. There's a culture that's established there. Their coach is a former Stanley Cup winner. You know, there's a lot.
The right pieces are in place.
Before as fans, even as fans, we used to say, "Oh, rich history. The Montreal Canadiens were the mecca. We're this. We're fans. We're crazy. Come on a Tuesday night," and it's all true. All this stuff is true. But now there's another layer. You're hearing it from even members of the media that have been known to be more like Leafs fans or more tilted towards certain teams that are saying Montreal's a great organization right now. They're very well built. They're very well structured. The culture's there. All these things, whether you love them or hate them, from fans from other teams, you can bash the Montreal Canadiens all you want and have your hate, but it is what it is. Montreal's an up and coming team. They're fun to watch. They're look what they did when Lane Hutson signed this contract. I don't know if you guys saw that video. He did a lap at practice, and when he got to the boards, the whole team went to hug him.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's not the first time that's ever happened. No, but yeah, they're close.
No, because before it was all business. When Marc Bergevin was there in that era there, or even the Pierre Gauthier, where Pierre Gauthier used to refer to players as Mr. Camilleri, as Mr. Gomez, and it was like, no, there was no fun to it. And now you see it. You're watching. The vibe we're all feeling is that there's fun. They're having fun. There's offense now. It's not just everybody sit on Carey Price. There's just different things to look at and storylines, and it's just different. And you're seeing the acquisitions they're going and make, and the signings they're going and make, and all of these things. And it's like everything's so calculated with a purpose.
You're right. You're 100% right. And it's a fun time at this particular point to be watching this team. And what I do like to talk about now, however, is the actual on ice, how they've been playing. and it's only been 3 games at the time of recording today, but they're 2-1. And I think that it's a fair sort of moment now, very early on, like let's be fair to everybody and ourselves included, to ask these questions even. But out the gate, Luca, who would be or maybe what is the biggest surprise so far to you in the 3 games that they've played? Could be anything.
Does that have to be a good surprise?
No, it could be bad surprise if you want.
What's the biggest surprise? Well, to be honest, before the contract was signed, Lane Hutson's game, like the way he was playing, I don't know, like the idea that he was practicing 2 times a day every day over the summer, and then he came out and kind of was like whiffing on the puck. His zone entry wasn't great, but like then it made sense. Like the whole contract situation kind of explained everything. But the thing that blew me away, first of all, Bolduc was a lot better than I thought he would be.
Okay.
And Kapanen and Demidov's instant chemistry was very nice to see.
Yep.
Their penalty kill is also really good. Yeah, a lot of good things. A couple bad, but the bad, I'm pretty sure it's resolved now. Aside from that, I mean, sample size is kind of small, so I can't really give you too much,
Well, you give me your way too early kind of thing, because my follow-up to this, and I can hit you with a follow-up right away too, like your biggest cause for concern after only 3 games. Again, throw the salt on it, relax. Yeah. It's just 3 games. But since we're talking, we're having fun about it. After watching those 3 games, what do you think is the biggest concern you've seen so far?
The biggest concern.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
It's very to me. It's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The power play for me, it's
there. You have it. I mean, you passed the test. You passed the test.
I mean, but again, it's early in the season. They haven't built their chemistry for the power play, and they're gonna fix it. I'm sure. There's nothing to worry about for that. I don't think.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Vito, your biggest surprise so far in the early 3 games of the season?
I would say how smart Bolduc is. Like, I knew he was a goal scorer, but his hockey IQ is just it's better than I thought. Gallagher can still contribute. He can still do something. Yeah. And you know what? I'm kind of seeing the reasoning behind putting Gallagher with Bolduc is that Bolduc could be like a modern day version of Gallagher. Go see how Gallagher was and the character, and have that be your line mate and whatnot. Obviously Bolduc's skill set is better than what Gallagher's ever. His skating alone is just better than what Gallagher was ever able to do. But that's a surprise. I didn't think the other bigger surprise is I didn't think the Matheson-Dobson duo would be as effective as they are. I knew, Matt, you and I have had offline conversations. We've had online conversations. I was a huge advocate about the Canadiens before they ever got Dobson, that he would be the perfect fit for the Montreal Canadiens. And I just didn't think that he would have stabilized things this much, and let alone with Matheson. Even at the beginning of the season, I had put Dobson with Kaden Gooley. I didn't put Dobson with Matheson. The other thing, too, is that you see now Matheson, who doesn't have to be the guy, and his minutes have been shrunk down to at least 5, 6, 7 minutes a game, how much more effective he is. Now you're hearing people talking about, and whether it's Jonathan Montreal, TVA, it's the big things that Montreal should re-sign Mike Matheson, but keep it at a digestible number. I think that at some point they still got to consider moving on from him. I know how Luca feels about Mike Matheson.
No, you know what? After seeing him this year, I'm a little more.
It's 3 games, Luca, seeing him this year.
I know, but still, I know. I've been a big hater of him in the past. You know what? I rescind my previous comments.
It's not see the light. It's not that he's not good, and in particular, in the pairing he's with now and playing a little bit reduced minutes, you're going to get the best of him. The problem with Mike Matheson is that his existence on the team causes a ripple effect, and it's going to be emphasized when Reinbacher's ready, and it's doubly so now because you'd like to place Hutson back on the other side, and so there's a couple things there that you'd like to handle, and it can't really happen if he's here. But then again, it's one of those, like, what we call a good problem to have. The better he plays, the better it is for the team. the more attractive he is to other teams should you need to move him, and you have options. But yes.
I also see it as like, I think when the Canadiens, there was all the rumors that they should move on from Mike Matheson, and you could kind of see it was like maybe teetering, like he was either was going to get moved or they were going to keep him. And then you look at this cap, and it's like it's very digestible for this year. I think one of the reasons why the Montreal Canadiens kept Mike Matheson, putting aside the fact he's a veteran, he's well liked, he's a local boy, all those things, is because in case Lane Hutson would have struggled outside the gate, and had a sophomore slump, at least you could say, okay, we'll relieve that bit of that pressure by playing Mike Matheson as a second pairing guy. But instead, they came out of St. Louis, saw something, decided to pair him with Dobson, and that seemed to have worked. Other big surprise, Kapanen. Yeah. It's not just the chemistry with Demidov. Like, I'm watching this guy play and the things he's doing, albeit a small sample size. You can't help but think of two players with this guy. He's a center. He's playing center, Kapanen, but I think of when I watch him play, it's Lehkonen and Danault. Yeah. He's got elements of both these guys, but as a center. And you're seeing like, okay, this is a very important skill set to have for a team that's starving for a 2C. Now, is he going to be a 2C all year long? We don't know. Is he a stopgap until they address that need? Maybe. We don't know. Fact of the matter is that Kapanen so far has done very well. It's a very early on in the season. I always say this, you're going to really see how players, young players anyways, come out by game 20, 15, 20, when things start to stabilize across the NHL, things start to tighten up. That's when you start to really see who's who.
To be fair, though, it's fair to be able to make an assessment of the guys out the gate. We got to watch them in preseason, and I'll be the first to admit, right? I also didn't think Kapanen was the guy that they were going to put there right away. I thought they were going to go a little bit more safe. They were going to play maybe Veleno right away, keep him as the 13th, or even send him down. He has been by far, to me personally, the biggest surprise. He looks like he not only belongs, but he is thriving. He looks real good out there. Like, it's not like you're not seeing him have problems and like, oh, it's just invisible. He didn't cause you any harm, but he's not causing you any good. He's just there. He's a driver. He's a dog. He's out there doing his.
Dude, he was originally slotted. When people were making the lineups, they were slotting him as a fourth line winger.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So like, you have him playing.
Instead, he's playing. However you want to look at it, it's either he's a 2C or a 3C, but whatever.
He's playing 2C. He is the 2C. That line's the second line.
He's been effective in all three games.
Yeah, his hockey IQ is off the charts in my opinion. And that's a skill set that doesn't diminish over time throughout the season. So
no, it improves.
Exactly. So I think he's a safe bet for at least third line C, second line until we get somebody else. Until the Canadiens get somebody else.
Well, until they get something that you literally pencil in no matter what as the 2C. But think of it think of it this way, right? There's been question marks around Kirby Dach as a center, and he was originally the Canadiens traded him to be the 2C, and now you're not so sure if he should be a center at all. But you see Kirby Dach is coming out of his shell and whatnot. But let's just say hypothetically speaking, a 2C is coming.
Yeah.
And now you want to bring down Kapanen to a 3C because that 2C comes in and slots in right away. You're not in a bad situation at all.
You have options. Yeah. And that's the best thing. And it's been the number one thing that this team hasn't had in I don't even know how long. They've never had options. If one guy went down, they had such strategically placed guys on the team that if one dude went down, they have options. You even got guys playing in Laval right now who can come up and probably take over for a length of time in any kind of spot here and there for the most part. It is a phenomenal thing to have that many teams don't have. And you notice that when they start losing guys, they start falling down the standings throughout the course of the season because they have no replacement parts. The Habs have a tremendous amount.
Yes, but no. There is a replacement part that they don't have. They still don't have. Like if Suzuki goes out,
I said for the most part, yeah, of course. You have your main guys and your drivers, but I mean, that's one spot, one major spot, and knock all the wood you can here. The guy's an Iron Man, so you're in a good shape with him. But I mean, even if Monty went down, you're starting to feel like you don't have Caden Primo backing up anymore. Like you feel okay.
Even
You know what I mean?
Dobesh. I gotta say this, and maybe people disagree, but when I watch Dobesh play, the way he plays is so like a mix of Cristobal Huet and Halak. It's so reminiscent. It's all positional, and he's so aggressive from his posts
He's
that you
chaotic in that. I love it personally.
But it's like he looks like Cristobal Huet in many ways. Like you see the puck, it just hits him. That was Cristobal Huet. He would position himself, the puck would hit him, and he'd be like, "Wow, look at him, he's crazy."
Cristobal the wall. Yes, sir.
You know, like you see a bit of just that. Dobesh's lateral movement is where I'm saying, okay, you might be more on the Halak side of things.
Yeah,
where the puck just it happens to hit the person.
These are good characteristics to have in your backup. And if something were to go down, I mean, I'm not even going to entertain. I don't think I'm prepared to talk about it today. Like some are suggesting that there's a goalie controversy happening here. I'm not quite there yet, guys. To be honest with you,
there's no goalie controversy.
Some on actual, the media have talked about this. I don't know if it's been more tongue-in-cheek or not. It seems like some are starting to think that maybe there's a conversation behind.
I guess everybody forgot at the end of this, closer to the end of the season last year, Dobesh was struggling, right? He wasn't getting those the consecutive shutouts. The goals were going in, and Monty had to come in.
Recency bias plays a massive factor, but you look at Dobesh, he's had multiple starts if you count the preseason, and he has looked solid, and I believe he has only let in a single goal.
I will say this: there is.
I'm not saying there's a controversy. Let it be clear. Monty's number one.
Hold on.
I'm just saying.
There's a bit of a Carey Price effect going on. Not that any of those goalies are Carey Price.
Okay.
It's that the team itself seems to play better in front of Dobesh.
Listen, that's you got to factor it. You got to factor it. I mean, not right now. Again, right? We're a weekly recorded podcast here. We're gonna talk. It's not like we're gonna say, okay, guys, let's not talk again for another 2 months, and then we'll get back to you. It's very early days, but the point that I was trying to illustrate is that they are incredibly deep, and it is a really not common occurrence, I find, for so many teams to have the wealth of depth and replacement parts that you finally have a little bit of breathing room. That not every play, if somebody goes down awkwardly, you take the papers, you throw them in the air, and you're like, season's done, forget it, we're done, pack it up, boys.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was before. Remember
when that's what I'm saying.
Used to say, Carey Price went down, we're like, okay, season's done.
I mean, that was even a bigger thing. He ever goes down, you're like, pack the franchise up at that point for those 10 years.
But just to say, and by the way, I'm not saying that Monty let in some bananas, as our friend Tony Marinaro has said in the past. He's let in some banana goals. It's fine. But I noticed that the team does play better in front of Dobesh. I just want to say that.
But there's no goalie controversy.
There's no goalie
controversy.
But hold on, do hockey players actually play differently in front of the goalie they're in front of?
Absolutely.
They do?
Absolutely.
There's some players in their mind probably they trust that if they mess up on a side, if they cheat a little bit during the course of the game and they get caught cheating, the goalie will bail them out.
They'll take more shots, not actual shots, but they'll take more liberties with their game, knowing that they have a certain goalie in net that they are more comfortable relying on stopping a shot coming back or something like that.
That makes sense.
They play tighter defense for younger goalies because they want to shelter them more. They block more shots. There are certain stats that you see, right? It's just one of those things.
In my head, it didn't make sense. If I was a professional athlete, I'd be like, I need to give it my all every game. It doesn't matter who's behind me.
You are. I'm not saying that anybody's holding back a bit. It's actually probably the other way. It's certain goalies you will try to push your offense maybe a little bit more at the cost of your defense versus other goalies you might favor being a little bit more defensive than pushing the offense on certain opportunities. You would probably notice it only a handful of times in the game per player, right? When an opportunity presents itself. Is the guy gonna chase after it a little bit further and try to make magic happen at the cost of getting beat if he doesn't make it? That kind of thing.
Understood.
No. So interesting to see what's happening there. I guess going back to sort of the question here, just to round it out, you guys nailed it. I mean, to me, it's been Kapanen. He's the biggest surprise for me by far. Again, just my general feeling about the player prior to the season starting. I knew he was a good player. I just didn't think he had this level of game in him yet, and he's blown my expectations away. Bolduc, also, an honorable mention. Obviously,
Well,
I don't know
I
what
got
he's
a
doing
question.
is sustainable or not, but right now it's a great story. I love it. I think that's a lot of fun. The concern out the gate obviously is the power play. If
What
I'm
was
not
your biggest
mistaken,
disappointment so far?
my biggest disappointment is the power play.
No. Who?
Specifically?
Yeah.
Players specifically. I guess it's my boy Patrick Laine, but
There you go. I finally got it out of you.
but
Yes.
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm not disappointed because
You should be.
No, I'm not, because I was one of the guys that I said an episode or two ago where I expected this. You're not putting him in the position to show off the skill that he has. You're playing him on fourth line minutes, and you're like, meh, you're not really good 5-on-5, Patty, right now, so we're going to bury you on the fourth line. This guy is designed to get one-timers and score goals. You need to maximize that in order for him to be a successful hockey player. And so I'm not surprised that it's not looking great for him. That said, I don't think he's been terrible. I don't think he's been, oh my God, what is this? Why are they even playing him? Put Veleno instead. But if I had to look at one guy on the ice, if you told me I had to, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, he's the one, but only because he has such raw, natural goal-scoring abilities. So when you see him out there and he's not even getting like a shot on net, yeah, it's a bad look. But he pales in comparison to the power play in general.
I mean,
which they've connected on. But if I remember looking at the stats, I believe the Canadiens, at least when I looked at it, I think it was yesterday, they have had the most power play opportunities in the total.
Like 10 in one game.
I know. And what did they score? How many times did they score in the power play that game? Twice. So 20% connection is not enough. And the worst part about it is they don't look good.
No,
it's one thing, like, okay, they scored twice on the power play.
It's too many guys that want the puck on the same.
He's got to change the 5 guys.
Yeah.
I don't like the units. That's where I'm at. I'm not prepared to really dissect it and kind of go into it right this moment, but like, we're going to see the next couple of games unfold. They have the home opener coming up in a few days, a couple more games coming after that. Tomorrow. And so when we talk again, we'll see if they've had more power plays and if Martin St. Louis decided to do something about this. But what I do know is, out of everything, that is key to being a successful team, and they cannot afford to not fix this right away. It has to be addressed. They have to do something. They have to stop the stupid drop pass. It's driving me absolutely bananas. They got to do something else, mix it up. Everybody knows this happening. Everybody expects it. Everybody knows your guys and where to stand now. They got to move pieces around.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
We're going to keep having it because he doesn't change anything. So we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, again, as always, thank you so much for taking the time and listening to us on our podcast here. For all those that take a moment and decide to listen to us do our thing, again, we're incredibly humbled, as always. Please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't. You know the whole drill as they do. Check us out on all our different social media platforms. We're being a lot more active these days on some of the ones that we historically have not, thanks to our boy Luca. A little bit more on the Instagram and these types of deals. Just take a look there too if you haven't. The Instagram. Yep. And as always, we appreciate you guys and thanks so much. So for Vito and Luca, I'm Matt, and this was
Get Pucked.